Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanya Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 14th of June 2026. I want to offer prostrations, Anandagodi Namaskaram to all the great sages and to Bhagavan, Paramatma, residing in the Hridaya Akash, in the heart of every single being at all times. We're continuing to examine Bhagavad Gita verse number 47, chapter number 2, as an ongoing exposition to set the foundation to understand eventually the Ras Leela, and the Ras Leela is within the 5 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Ras Panchadhyay, we just started looking at the very first verse of that some time back, but then to set the proper foundation, we're going into many verses of the Gita and other interconnected ideas to pull this all together. And that's the way it will continue to flow as many years will go on in this. And then we'll definitely dive back into the Bhagavatam text itself. But to clarify the foundation so that we are prepared for that extraordinary devotion, the concepts in the Bhagavad Gita are foundational, they're essential. This verse number 47 is perhaps the most famous verse in the entire Sanatana Dharma. Karmannevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bhurmate sangnosto akarmani. This is a very well-known verse, and this is now the third day that we're talking about this. Today I want to approach this with a quotation from J. Krishnamurti, who is a very enlightened being, very awakened being, and has written extraordinary ideas. And one of the quotes that has always stayed with me very nicely from him has to do with the field of resistance. You've heard me talk about this before also. We don't want resistance inside our system, right? So Karmannevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. The concept is that we want to perform activity throughout the day, throughout every breath, every hour, every minute, without resistance. So what has he said about this? That an intelligent mind, the awakened mind, the intelligent mind, it continues to act, it performs activity within the field of thought. Thought meaning the entire field, internal world, TEMDE, thought, emotion, memory, desire, energy. So the activity is performed inside, but it's performed with sanity, without resistance. There's no friction inside. This is what the Bhagavad Gita is teaching. That we perform activity, but the resistance that comes about, the question is, why does that come about? Why is there resistance? So what is that resistance? That's an interesting question itself. What is even meant by the resistance internally? Well, we know this very well. We decide to perform an action, then we don't want to perform it, then something else comes up, something this, something that. This causes friction and resistance. So the action is then not performed correctly in the right amount at the right time because there's other motivations, other tracks internally. So intelligence is not just information. Intelligence is that special ability to know that these are the right steps to take. My activity, action, karmani eva adhikara. So the adhikara, the opportunity to act is in the present, but to do so without resistance is an idea to be held in the mind, that I'm going to perform the activity even though I don't feel like it, something else is there, I'm delaying it, this and that. That is creating resistance. For example, procrastination. We know there's so many things to be done, but we don't do it at the right time. So then that gets delayed. And that adds to resistance. It adds to more frustration. Small things or big actions, doesn't matter. All we have purview over is action anyway. Right? So as this verse is showing us beautifully, teaching us beautifully, we have purview or agency only on action. We don't have anything else. We are not the cause of the fruit of the action. And so the palam, paleshu, karma paleshu, meaning that feeling that I am creating the fruit, that goes away. And that's a very powerful thing to understand and to realize, that I am not the one who is creating the fruit of my action. Ma paleshu kadachana. So the authority, purview, sphere, the fruits that come, the results that come, our ego creates resistance with those fruits. Fruits meaning results. The results, the outcome, results, fruits, all mean the same thing. So the verse is saying, karmani eva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu kadachana. So the fruit will come to us. The result always comes to us somewhere, however or another. But it comes to us so that we do not grab hold of the result. And that's the most difficult part, because that is where our ego, our sense of me says, this is my result. I made this result happen. And Bhagavan Krishna is teaching us here that do not get involved in that me grabbing hold of that result. Because once we get hold of that, our ego increases, and eventually that will promote resistance. It will create division with others. It will create inflation of ego. So the fruit that comes, yes, we experience it, it's available for us. Use it for the benefit of oneself, for others, as a way to promote the progress of all. In the progress of others exists everybody's progress. Right? This is a famous quote from the BAP's guru, Pujya Pramukh Swamiji Maharaj. He used to say this: in the joy of others is our own, in the progress of others is our own, in the benefit of others is our own. This is a Vedic concept. It's not something new in that sense. It's just life. It's just life's truth. But we are so trapped inside the ego dimension, we don't think of it that way. We think of, how can I progress? Yes, okay, we do need to progress, no doubt. But our progress happens when others progress. That is real progress. Not to damage others, degrade others, not that kind. That is why when we perform action, whatever fruit comes, phalan, see, ma phaleshu kadachana. This is how the Sanskrit is. Kadachana means not at any time, ever at all. You do not have authority on the fruit. Authority meaning you don't grab it for your ego. Yeah, obviously, you go to work somewhere, you get a paycheck. You have to say, this is my money, no doubt. This is in your bank account. You cannot just disperse it like that. But that is to be used for the right actions. Otherwise, if it is used in an egotistical way, then you're trying to grab hold of that. We're trying to grab hold of it. So the actions we have purview, where the fruits come, the results come, and then take them and use them for benefit. Use them in the right way. And if we do this hour at a time, day at a time, our attention is on our actions now. And so the resistance completely goes away. And what happens is that our attachment structure also transforms. But J. Krishnamurti stated that the intelligent mind is then free from the structure and implications of the attachment. I would expand that to say entangled attachment. From the action of attachment, he says. The attachments that are there, the binding that is there, that we perform action from there. And then we want power. because of those attachments. The pursuit of power with all the complications. And then the ruthlessness, don't care what happens, right? That kind to others. So our mind gets divided. So the intelligent mind is able to see that the dividing process of thought is going on, and seeing that clearly, totally. Now we have energy. When we understand how this mind is getting divided and split apart in this way, that Shakti is there, and that energy then is used to perform activity. Karmani eva adhikaraha. That energy is used to perform activity, and it allows us to not get attached to non-action. Mate sangaha astu akarmani. Mate sangaha. Clinging. Do not cling to, do not let there be this clinging to inaction. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. This is wrong. That is a mistake. This is how we reach perfection, is by performing action. Without performing action, there is no way to reach perfection. This is one of the most central teachings in the Gita. Why it is so famous, and people have made their life on this. They have reached higher levels of consciousness. They have done a lot for the society, for one's family, for themselves also, by following the principle of Shlok number 47, chapter number 2. 2.47. Karmani eva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetu bhuhu ma te sangaha astu akarmani. See how beautiful. The truth is shining in this, because Shri Bhagavan Uvacha is shining. It has to shine. It is shining. And the beauty is that our internal mechanism of the antakarana, thought, emotion, memory, desire, energy, it is integrated completely through this technology, Bhagavad Gita technology. It's a tremendous integration. Tremendous integration. And that's what we want. I mean, that's what we want, that we need that, we must have that, in fact. And if we don't have that, then what will happen? We are, the potentiality is not opened up properly. It's not opened up properly. People are just chasing the fruits. That's what it is. Because the word phaleshu refers to the outcome that arises from action. There's always an outcome. Phala, or the fruit or results, these include success, reward, recognition, gain, pleasure, status, victory, emotional satisfaction. So verse 2.47 does not deny that actions bear results. Of course there are results, obviously. Rather, it denies that the person should become psychologically enslaved to them. It is psychological slavery to the results. Aha. This is beautiful to understand. So, in the field of these results, in the fruits, or in the area of where these results come about, attachment easily forms to the result. Isn't it so? The student studies hard and they get straight A's, and everybody's praising them. So the person becomes attached to that. And you go, wow. Okay, but the result is there. Consider it as God's grace. Don't become engulfed in the result. It is there, leave it alone. The result, Bhagavan says, you don't get trapped inside that result. Use the result to go further for higher development, further development, and to grow further from there. So that all, and this is the saintly life. Sarvetra sukhinah santu, sarve santu niramay. The saintly life is that may all progress, may all grow together. whichever domain of life we're in, you could be a scientist or a teacher or whatever, you could get awards. All those things are fine. You can get straight A's, get Nobel Prizes, whatever. Use it for seva. Seva muktischa gamyatam. Sarva bhuta hite rataha. Seva, it is actually given by Paramatma for the kalyanam, for the benefit of all. Yad yad acharite shreshtaha. Shreshta purusha. People who are very advanced, they are to guide others. Those who are not advanced, look to those who are advanced and learn from them. There's no ego in this. How beautiful, what a beautiful life this is. You see, families will become so loving when this happens. Things like jealousy fall away. Things like bashing somebody falls away. Internal, in this constant comparison with others, that goes away. What remains is the beauty of action and interaction. And it remains that way because the entanglement inside the field of the fruits, the results, is not present. So when action is performed only for the desired fruit, the mind becomes restless, fearful, calculating, and dependent. Let's be clear. When any person is performing action, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this. There's restlessness. The happiness is not there. There's fear. What if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't happen? What if that I don't get this job? What if I don't get this promotion? What if this, that? It just goes on. One becomes calculating, manipulative. How can I manipulate the situation? And one becomes dependent, paradhin, as we have stated. So the verse therefore redirects attention from outcome possession to disciplined participation. Now this is a transition. Our attention is on the outcome, the possession of the outcome. Outcome is going to be there. But when I possess that, that's where I get bound. So it is redirecting my thoughts, my attention, my intention, my awareness away from outcome possession to disciplined participation. Yes. Participate. The fruits come, my activity is going on. It's disciplined, it's regulated, I am not getting stuck, and I'm also looking ahead for how to grow further, how we can all grow together further. How beautiful is that? And that is why the word kadachana is used. The absolute scope of the teaching, this is the key, one of the key words in this, all the words are key. The word kadachana intensifies the instruction by removing exceptions. There is no exception to this rule, to this teaching. Isme koi exception nahi. It's like, oh, maybe 99% Krishna is saying, okay, that is there. That's why he put the word kadachana. Bhagwan, why that is written this way? He says there's no exception to this. The moment we make an exception, we get bound. Bandhan aisa hi hota hai. That's why the word kadachana is used, meaning the absolute scope of the teaching in verse 47. Absolute scope of the teaching. Because the word kadachana means at any time. In Gujarati we can say kyare, koik pan samay, at any time, right? Kadachana intensifies the instruction that Sri Krishna is giving by removing all exceptions. There's no exception to this extraordinary principle of action. The teaching does not apply only during spiritual practice or only during moments of crisis. Two key points to understand. People think, okay, well, I'm going to do this when I go to the mandir mein jaunga, hum seva karenge. This applies there. This is how we think, right? Mandiron mein jate hai, we go to temples, wahan seva karenge. So why? Seva is not at home. Seva is not a job. Seva is not in all other places of life. See, this is why the word kadachana is used. The teaching does not apply only during spiritual practice or only during moments of crisis. When trouble happens, now I want to apply this verse. No. Yeah, you apply it there, no doubt. It applies everywhere. It applies always in every situation, because the tendency to cling to results is a recurring structure of human psychology. We want to always cling to result. I did this, I get a result. I'm holding on. I'm putting my mind into that result. And I'm clinging to the result. But when we do not cling to the result, so the word kadachana, which means ever or at any times, means that the attachment to results must not become the hidden foundation of action at any point. The clinging, the attachments to the results, in most cases that becomes the hidden foundation of action. I'm performing, maybe I'm giving lip service, superficially to seva, this, that, but internally there is a clinging there. I want to get to that result, and it's me that's making it happen, and the ego comes into the picture. That's called the hidden foundation of action. So the word kadachana means that the attachment to results must not become the hidden foundation. The attachment to the results must not become the hidden foundation of action. It's hidden inside. At any point that should not happen. This does not require emotional numbness. We have our emotions. It requires clarity regarding the difference between aspiration and dependence. Aspiration, I can aspire. I can say, I want this goal, I want to have this, I want to have this, I want to have this. But my dependency is no longer present over there. So this is the word kadachana. Let's stop here for now. We'll pick it up tomorrow. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarachi Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Ganapate Namaha Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha Om Hrim Swaha.